Everything is coming towards me. I can't find relief. I'm swimming upstream. I'm trying to keep from drowning. I'm looking up towards you, trying to see if you see me too. I'm drowning, I'm drowning. Don't wanna go too deep. Feels like I can't breathe. My head is underwater. Please come and save me. I wanna live and not die. Come to my rescue, my
I apologize because I feel like I have been on mute for like the past like 5 minutes. And if I was on mute, why didn't y'all jump in the chat and say, hey, you on mute, my guy? Like, you could have told me. You could have let your boy know. I'm pouring out my heart over here and I'm talking to y'all. But I don't know if I was on mute or not. So I have to wait and see. If I was on mute and you didn't tell me, that's your fault. But okay, it's not your fault. It's my fault. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab myself some tea. And my tea, yes, it does have a snowman on it. It's not snowing here, but it's. I just want to feel wintry, okay? Oh man, but like I was saying, you know, I just want to let everybody know that my heart goes out to those people who have been going through things when it comes to just the challenges that you face in life, the challenges that you face in dealing with the loss of the people that you've lost in COVID. So what I want you to do is in the chat, I don't care what outlet you're on, go ahead and let me know. Like, have you had to deal with any of the challenges that have been going on with the COVID experience? Like, are you one of those people that have dealt with it? And if so, you know, how are you handling it? How is your family? How are you? Like, you know, let's do a life check. You know, are you good right now? If you're good right now, just say I'm good. Say, hey, I'm good. And we can rock with it on that aspect. But if you're not good right now, just let me know. How are you? Like, you know, let's do a life check. Are you good right now? If you're good right now, how dare I bring myself back up? All right, so listen, this is your boy Jarvis here, and you are on my IG, my FB, my everything right now. And this is Jarvis Henderson TV. It's Jarvis TV, and we're talking about how do we deal with it? How do we handle it? How do we handle the pain? And I hate to keep going back into how do we handle the pain, but that's really what it is. It's the pain of the experiences that are going on right now. I will tell you about myself. That's one thing that I can do, that I know that I do very well, is talk about myself and what I deal with, because I don't mind sharing my experience. And talking about myself and how I deal with certain things, you know, the challenges that I faced when it comes to just the COVID experience, the challenges that I faced when it comes to the whole thing that's been going on is, you know, I was somebody who definitely was gainfully employed, had a great position, working for a great company, and then COVID hits, right? And so when COVID hits, you know, there's the unexpected moves that start to happen. You start to see the dominoes fall. You try to prepare yourself emotionally and mentally, but then you get this call and say, hey, you're being furloughed. If you don't know what furloughed is, that just means that they tell you that we're going to keep you on the roster, but we're not going to pay you for being a part of the team. So in that part of the situation, you're like, okay, I'm good. I can handle this. Then you go a little bit further and then you get a call and it's like, hey, we're all going to be on a phone call together, this big conference call. And I find out that they let go almost 40,000 people from our job. Let us go. And that right there was a shock. It was a surprise. I wasn't mentally prepared and I wasn't emotionally prepared for it. However, I just trusted that God got me. I was like, hey, if this is the direction that we're going in, God, you gotta have my back. Like, I don't know. Hey, you got to have my back. And in looking at it like that, one of the things that really stood out to me, one of the things that really made my mind start to click is I started looking at the families of those people who I personally was leading. Like I led a team, a full team of people, and all those people had families. And I started to think about, you know, what their thought process was. Some of them felt the panic, which maybe some of you that are watching right now, you still feel the panic of the things that are going on. Some of them felt hurt. You know, it's almost like being broke up with and them saying, hey, listen, it's not you, it's me. Because that's pretty much what happened. They just told us like straight up, hey, we can't pay you, so we got to let you go. Then there were those who were relieved because they felt like it's something that they should have been doing for a long time, but they didn't get into it. So fast forward a little bit, and you take all those things in. The first thing I did is I started reaching out to everybody. I wanted to make sure everybody was okay. You know, I wanted to help them make that transition from being gainfully employed to now here we are in a world where it looks like things are going spiraling down, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who are losing their job, and we're all in the same position. We're trying to figure out how to get there. We're trying to figure out how to get to the next phase. And so it was very beneficial. Like, it felt good to be able to be there for people. But what I did not do is I did not take the time to be there for myself. I'm just being transparent. You know me, I like to keep it hot, honest, open, transparent. And in that honest, open, and transparent transparency that I have for you. I want you to know that it was challenging. It was very, very, very challenging. But one of the first things that popped in my mind was like, Jarvis, you cannot sit on your butt. And the reason you can't sit on your butt is because you are the guy who tells everybody to get up off their butt and go do something. You see it up there in the corner. I tell y'all to get up off your butt and go do something. And what do I mean by get up off your butt and go do something? Matter of fact, just because I feel like you don't see it, I want you to know, get up off your butt and go do something. This is what I'm telling myself is Jarvis, get up off your butt and go do something. And telling myself this, the thing that stood out to me was you can't sit still. You have to get yourself up. You have to move. You have to start acting as if everything is already taken care of. What is that? That's called faith. That's what faith is. Faith is seeing, believing, and acting. You see it on the canvas of your imagination. You believe that it's already done. You act like it's already done. Now that's for somebody, because there's somebody who's watching this right now that you're in a situation and you're looking at your surroundings and you're looking at the things that have happened and you're like blaming it on COVID. Do not use COVID-19 as a crutch, you all. You know, I found myself somewhere in the middle of all of this using COVID-19 as a crutch, thinking about it as if like, well, the whole world is dealing with it, so I'm going to deal with it too. Well, who said you have to be like the whole world? You can be average. Go ahead, be average. What do average people do? Average people, they get up in the morning, they put their clothes on, they do something, whether it's sit on the couch or go to the store or sit down and have a cup of coffee. Average people brush their teeth every day. They do. Average people, they do it. It's an average thing. Average people eat something every day. They do. That's what average people do. So if you want to be average, keep being average. Now, the same thing I'm saying to you is what I said to myself while I was dealing with all this. And I'm thinking about what's happening in COVID. I'm like, Jarvis, you can be average or you can go be great. You can go be phenomenal. You can go be amazing. You can go make a difference somewhere. So I immediately started going out and cutting my grass. And then not only would I cut my grass, but I would cut my neighbor's grass. And then I would cut my other neighbor's grass. And I would cut another neighbor's grass, not because they asked me to, but because in my heart, I know that the servant is the greatest. And I knew that I didn't have anything else that I could physically do right then and there at that moment. Now, yes, I was applying for jobs. Yes, I was making calls. Yes, I was sending emails. I'm updating my resume. I'm doing all of these things, but nothing's happening. Nothing's shaking. It don't feel like anything's moving at all. So I had to create an environment, create a space where I went back to the basics. And the basics for me is just having a heart of servitude, being the servant. The servant is the greatest. So I'm out there and I'm slaving, I'm laboring, it's hot, you know, my back is hurting, my legs are hurting, I'm doing all these things. And it's because I want others to know like, hey, you're not in this alone. I want others to know that there's somebody here who, no matter what they have, they're going to make sure that they can give to you. And I made sure that I started to give to my neighbors. I made sure that I started to cut the grass. I made sure that I would take the trash out from whatever it was, not asking for anything, just trusting that God was working on my situation and being there for other people. So time goes on, right? And it passes. And as the time goes and it passes, you know, things get a little tough, right? They get a little tough because you start looking at your savings and you're like, yo, and thank you. Now I see, the messages that come through. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. But there are so many things that start to happen, you know, and I like this comment right here. Blessed to have no losses in the family, but sincerely praying for those that have, you know, and I appreciate that comment. And the reason that I appreciate that comment is because it is a blessing when you can go through this experience and it hasn't touched close to you. You know, and we're blessed to be able to be a blessing. So those people who are experiencing the loss, they need those individuals who are out there who can actually cover them and pray for them and pray for their strength and all those various things. Because again, back to me and back to what I was dealing with, you know, I'm just trying to figure out what my next move is. I had not been in a position since my divorce, and that was a while ago, where I felt like I had nothing to give, or I felt like I was like, at a place where I was trembling and trusting. And you may be asking yourself, well, what's trembling and trusting? Trembling and trusting that's when you a little nervous, you know, you shaking, but you trust that God has got everything under control. That's what trembling and trusting is. Trembling and trusting is just believing that God has got you, that everything's going to be taken care of, things are under control. and you're just wanting things to move forward. You're wanting to take action. You're wanting to be like, okay, God, I got this. I'm gonna move with you. Let's do it. And that's where I was with it. That's exactly where I was with it. And it's okay to be at that position. I know people will be like, well, God has not given us a spirit of fear. He hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but that doesn't mean that fear doesn't attack you. If I can get biblical for a moment, even Jesus was at a point where he felt fear. The man was so afraid, and he dealt with every emotion that he started to sweat blood. So you mean to tell me that it's not okay for me to have a little bit of fear that sneaks up on me to tell me like, yo, you got to get this thing together, y'all. Get it, Jay. Got to get it together. So I went through it and I started to deal with it. One thing that I did is I started to kind of like, I had to start to reset myself. I had to bring myself back in. I had to recluse a little bit so that I could start moving in the right direction. And again, it falls back into the statement, go do something. I don't know if you've ever purchased any of my brand or anything, but Go Do Something is my brand. That is my brand. And what it's basically saying is it's empowering you to move, take a step, with all of the things that have happened, with all of the loss that we felt, with the job loss, with the family loss, with with not being sure where the next meal may come from for some people, with your kids being at home because they're virtual learning. And now you have to deal with your kids the way that the teacher has been having to deal with your kids for the longest time. I'm just saying, being in that space and being in that area, it's challenging, it's different, and that's okay. It's okay for things to be challenging, and it's okay for things to be different. You just have to be the ones to make up your mind and to make the decision to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to take a quick break right here. We got a commercial break, and the commercial, guess what? It's D McGee's song, Rescue. I'm going to play it again because I want you guys, I know there's people that are watching now that weren't watching earlier, but it's a powerful song. And there's those of us that are dealing with things. We're going through things. And I believe that if you tap in to what she's saying in this song, that it'll make a difference to you. So let's go ahead. Let's go check it out. Let's see what D McGee has going on. Rescue. If you have not subscribed yet to my page on YouTube, Jarvis Henderson TV, then you need to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that button. Hit that button. You need to subscribe right now, because we're going to have some good conversations. This is the first of many. This is your boy right here. That's right. Jarvis Henderson holding it down. And we're about to go ahead and watch the video, Rescue, D McGee.
Everything is coming towards me. I can't find relief. I'm swimming upstream. I'm trying to keep from drowning. I'm looking up towards you, trying to see if you see me too. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. Don't wanna go too deep. Feels like I can't breathe. My head is underwater. Please come and save me. I wanna live and not die. Come through my rescue, my rescue. I need you. I need you. I know there's no other place for me to go. I'm weak where I used to be strong. I've wandered in this place too long. Save me, please. I have no other option but to trust you, because you're the only one that can come to my rescue. Feels like I can't breathe.
Yo, again, another powerful, just like, I don't know, like that song for me through this time has been, it's just been something that I've hung on to. It's been something that I've grabbed onto. It's been something that I've meditated on. And the reason why is because it's speaking to everything that we're going through. We are dealing with a time that could be tumultuous for some people. We're dealing with a time where things are they're just challenging, and we just need to be rescued. And going on with everything that's going on, the talk today is how do we deal with it? And I'm sharing with you how I've dealt with it. So when I talk about it, I'm talking about this whole experience of what we're going through with COVID, the whole experience of what we're going through with life, the whole experience of what we're going through in facing the deaths that have happened around us. And the thing that sparked me to want to have this discussion and want to talk about it tonight is that I have had people that are close to me that have had losses, and I feel those losses. And it's a challenging thing in a time like this because we can't come together the way that we used to be able to come together. And that challenging thing is it challenges us mentally and it challenges us emotionally. The mental challenge is this, and this is just me. I'm not the expert, but I'm just sharing you with me. The mental challenge is this: how do I deal with this by myself? How do I face this journey that I have on my own? How do I say goodbye to somebody that I want to hold and I want to hug and I want to love, and that I expect to be here for the rest of my life? How do I look these people in the face knowing that I don't have the money to get it? How do I handle putting food on my table? How do I handle teaching my kids? I'm not a teacher. That's why I sit on the school. How? We have all of these questions, and we just need to be rescued. We just need somebody to step in and just give us the answer. It's almost like you wish that Superman was real. It's almost like you wish the Avengers were real. And I'm not talking about movie real. I'm talking about real. And in those moments, I need you all to just do a little something. Have faith. Believe. I don't care if you don't believe in God. God believes in you. I don't care if you don't believe in the Bible, but it was written. I don't care if you don't believe in the supernatural, but the things happen. And I just want you guys to know that you're not alone in this thing. You're not alone in anything that you're facing. You're not alone in your journey to try to find a new job. You're not alone in dealing with the loss of a loved one. You're not alone in trying to figure out if you're going to be able to put food on your table or not. You are not alone in any of these things. You actually have like people that are out here that are in the same boat as you, and I have to say that I applaud those people that are in a position where they're very blessed. I applaud those people that are in a position where things are moving and operating for them. So let me do this. Let me see if y'all have any questions or any comments. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what you got going on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read some of the comments that I can pull up. I want to say thank you to Sean Gilliard. She says that you're such a blessed young man. Continue to inspire others to be a blessing. I will certainly do that. I certainly will. But let me know if you have any questions. Holla at your boy. Let me know. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that you have on your heart tonight? Because I'm going to continue to talk about some stuff and I'm going to continue to share. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask me some questions so that I can go back in and answer those questions. And please forgive me if I don't see it because there are different platforms that are running right now. I have like 4 or 5 different platforms running. So I may miss a comment or I may miss a question. I see I have oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's up, Luana? How you doing? The Big 5-0 holding it down. Happy birthday to you. Yes, and we're here to speak life. So I'm definitely with it. Thank you so much. And those comments came through Facebook. So if you're watching on the Facebook channels, those are some of the ones that I can pull up. If you're on YouTube, I'm not sure if I can pull up your questions or anything yet, but I will figure it out if I haven't yet. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and try to get in here now so I can get that to you. But man, so in dealing with the things that have been going on, I'm sure that we all have faced one of those emotions at some point or another. There's not to mention that we've had to deal with a lot of racial injustice, social injustice. There's things that have happened that have brought to light what we as Black people have been dealing with our entire lives. The one of the toughest conversations I've had in this pandemic has been with a neighbor of mine. He's a good friend, and he asked me how I felt about the things that happened with George Floyd and the things that happened with Ahmaud Arbery. Like he asked me questions like how I felt with that. Now I'm gonna tell you the Ahmaud situation, it stung and it hurt, but it didn't hit as bad as the George Floyd situation. And when I was talking to him, I saw the emotion in his face. I saw the emotion in his eyes. And if you haven't guessed it yet, he don't look nothing like me. He is a white man, Caucasian persuasion, whatever you want to call it. But he was having a heart-to-heart conversation with me. And he was like, man, it just, how do you feel about that? And I looked at him and I was very sincere and I said it. And I said, man, honestly, I'm kind of used to it because I've dealt with it my entire life. I went through it as a kid. I went through it in middle school, high school, went through it in college. I was in situations in college where the KKK drew down on us and it was like, nigga, leave or else. Yes, I did say the N-word. I'm sorry. This is my own station, so I'm not going to bleep it out. But yeah, that's what they said to me. And there were times where I did fear for my life. As a matter of fact, in the book, Dear Fear Men, I've been reading through it again. Of course, I'm one of the contributing authors in this, but in this book, I talk about some of those things. I talk about some of the things that I faced as far as like racism and some of the things that I dealt with growing up. I mean, it digs deep into it. So if you have not gotten your book, then I want to encourage you to go ahead and go get your book, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit. So in dealing with the things, that conversation, I just looked at him and I said, hey, Jim, like, I don't agree with it at all, but I've seen so much of it that I'm almost numb to it. It's almost like the fight doesn't have, like, we're fighting an uphill battle. And he looked at me and he's like, Jarvis, me and my wife had a conversation last night and man, my heart hurts because me and my wife were talking and he began to get emotional. Like I saw his eyes start to well up and I felt guilty as a Black man because I didn't have that same hurt and that same passion that he had in that situation with the Ahmaud Arbery thing that happened with him getting shot while he was running. And he was like, my kids, I don't ever have to have that conversation with them. I don't have to tell them, be careful when you get stopped by the police officer. I don't have to tell them to act a certain way. I just send them out and let them go do what they do. And then he said, but I think about you and I think about the other kids that are in this neighborhood because we do live in a predominantly Black neighborhood. And he's like, man, I can only imagine the conversations that they have to have. I see these little kids and my heart goes out to them because their parents have to warn them about what could possibly happen to them when they get stopped by somebody who's supposed to protect them. And in that conversation, it shed so much light on what we've been dealing with in our lifetime as Blacks. As a Black man, my goal was to beat every statistic that was put out there. I wanted to not be a teenage father. I wanted to not be in jail or dead by the time I was 16 and then not be in jail or dead by the time I was 18 and not be in jail or dead and be gone away to school and doing something with myself by the time I was like 18, 19. I wanted to still be alive at 25, and those are things that as a Black man that I had to think about and I focused on and I was driven towards, which in our society, unfortunately, that's the world that we've been put in. That's what systemic racism is. I had another conversation with somebody else who I do business with, again, another white gentleman. And I love these conversations because it allows us to dialogue, to understand where the other person's coming from. And we're having this conversation and we're talking about systemic racism. And he's like, man, Jarvis, there's no systemic racism. I don't get it. I mean, if there's systemic racism, then why do we have a Black president? Why do we have Black congressmen and Black congresswomen? And why do we have Black judges and Black officials? And I'm thinking to myself, like, bruh, you just don't get it. That's not systemic at all. That means that those people fought to get where they're at. They're pioneers, they're trailblazers, and they're setting up something for the next generation to be able to follow. But the systemic racism comes in just the idea that you're okay with that being justified as, hey, you're just as equal as I am. I wish that it was just that simple, and it's not. See, what systemic racism is it's something that's been inbred into a certain people group over time. And you see how my hand is moving slowly. That's how slowly these things were inbred. As a young man, I was taught that it wasn't okay to talk to white people a certain way. As a young man, I was taught that I was inferior. As a young man, I wasn't taught that I was equal. Yes, I heard about Malcolm X, and I heard about Martin Luther King, and I heard about all these great things. I heard about the movements. I heard about the Black Panther Party, and they paint these pictures that it was like that these were horrible people. I was alive when Rodney King got beat by the police. That was the first time that they actually were able to catch that on camera, and all of those police officers were acquitted. So if you looking at that, I'm just like, yo, for you to just think that that's like those things to be swept under the rug because we have a Black president, that lets me know that you just don't get it. And it's okay, because I understand where you're coming from. See, we grew up in two different worlds. We understand two different things. See, I didn't talk about buying a house or know about buying homes. I thought about living in the nicest apartment that I could get, or living in the nicest townhome that I could find. That was my goal early on, you know, and that was because as Blacks growing up, that's what we saw all around us. That's the things that we experienced all the time, you know, and that's for me growing up where I grew up at. You know, we had a good mix of people, but it was like if you was white, you was all right. If you was Black, you had to get back. If you was brown, you could stick around, you know, and that's the unfortunate thing. That's the systemic racism, where it was okay for whites to blend with any other culture except for the Black culture. It was okay for them to date anybody else of any other race except for the Blacks. And then it was frowned upon when Blacks dated outside of their race. And that unfortunately is not what God has intended for us. It's just not, y'all. I mean, I don't want to be preachy, and I don't want to preach at you or anything, but those are some of the things that we had to deal with. So out of those conversations, I was able to understand a little bit more, because of course those conversations were a little bit deeper. But in the midst of all of that, the George Floyd thing happens. And when that happened, it hurt my heart. It created a level of fear on the inside of me that I hadn't felt since I was a kid. And that fear that I felt when I was a kid, there's an experience that I talk about in the book, Dear Fear Men. And in that experience, I talk about how the KKK chased me. So you got to get your copy of the book, so you can really dig into it, and there's going to be more to come. But in that was the last time that I felt that afraid for my life, where now, as I'm driving down the street, if I see a police officer on the side of the road, my heart races a little bit. If a police officer is on the road next to me, I find myself thinking the worst case scenario, not that they're there to protect me. And that's not what it should be. That's not how life should be lived. You know, that creates anxieties. It creates things that are unfortunate. And it's crazy that I say that, because we do have a good question, how to face anxiety. That's a great question. How do you face anxiety in these times? And so I'm not the professional, but I would give you some of the things that I would do, or some things that I have done to deal with the anxieties, because those anxieties that I felt the anxiety of knowing that I didn't have health insurance anymore. Yeah. When you lose that corporate gig, that health insurance go with it. They don't give it to you. They put you on this thing called Cobra, or you can get Cobra. But I ain't gonna talk bad about nobody. I ain't endorsing nobody. Matter of fact, let me get my endorsement. I'm gonna endorse. This is brought to you by Frosty the Snowman. Frosty, you know him if you live in the snow. That's the endorsement that I'm gonna give right now. But the anxiety piece, I know that feeling of anxiety, because when I got sick in the middle of the summer when COVID first hit, and my biggest fear was, God, don't let it be COVID. Don't let it be COVID, because I could hear everything that they were telling me on TV. I was like, God, please don't let it be COVID, because I was like, I don't have money to go to the doctor. I don't have insurance to be able, and there were things that I needed to get done that I could not do because I didn't have insurance. And that's not a good place to be, because now you're looking at paying all these medical bills out of your pocket and everything else. And as individuals, as people, whenever you face anxiety, anxiety falls into the root of fear. The reason we start to feel anxious is because we've convinced ourselves mentally on the canvas of our imagination that the worst case scenario is going to happen. Not that it could happen. We've convinced ourselves that it's going to happen. And it happens on a subconscious level, and it works its way to being a conscious level. We believe it because we start to see it on the canvas of our imagination. Now, let me help you understand this. When you are in a plane, if you are afraid of heights, it's not that you're afraid of being up so high. It's that you're afraid that the plane will crash. that plane ain't coming down. You're on it. That plane is going to stay up. When you get on a ladder and you're standing too high, it's not that you're afraid of the height of the ladder. In your mind, you see yourself falling and the worst thing happening, like breaking your neck or hurting yourself really bad. And so you start to feel that fear and that anxiety behind the thought, the image that you paint on the canvas of your imagination. So what I've done to work myself through those anxieties is, one, I got right back into working out. I got back into affirmations. If you don't know what affirmations are, that's when you speak positive things over yourself. And I personally like to take positive scriptures out of the Bible and speak them over my life and stand on them. I like to take positive things that I say, like I was born on purpose for a purpose. That's something that I say all the time. I don't know if you guys can see my picture right here. Oh, you can't see my picture right here. Let me see if I can turn this really quick so you can see my picture. Right there. There are 7 days in the week, and someday is not one of them. That's an affirmation. That's something that I say about myself. That's something that I tell myself all the time. Hey, Jay, you got to get up and you got to go do it now, because there's 7 days in this week, and someday it ain't happening. You can sit there and wait for someday if you want to. You can sit there and keep chasing tomorrow if you want to, or you can just get bold enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make moves, and this is the moves that I'm gonna make, and you move forward with it and you go along with it. And that's how I started dealing with my anxieties. I started to confidently step out and say, today is going to be a great day. Today, I'm doing something amazing. Today, I'm going to impact somebody's life in a positive way. Today, I'm going to be a difference maker. And that's, once you make those statements and you step out there, matter of fact, I would challenge each and every one of you guys to do this. Go out every day and say this: today, something absolutely amazing is going to happen for me. Every time I go to the mailbox, I'm opening that thing expecting a check. I'm not talking about one of those like fake, we're going to give you a loan for however many thousands of dollars. No. I'm expecting that 6-figure check. I'm opening every piece of mail. I don't care if it say bill on it. I'm opening it like it's a check that's going to take care of everything that I need to have taken care of and give me the overflow so that I can help take care of other people's needs. That's what I'm doing with it. So, when it comes to those things, it's okay to feel the way that you feel. Don't ever let yourself get to a place where you feel like it's not okay to feel the way that you feel. It is absolutely okay to feel the way that you feel. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to have this song, Rescue. I'm going to play Rescue one more time, and then we're going to go and I'm going to start talking about how to deal with death. And then after I talk about how to deal with death, I'm not going to get off of this without praying for y'all. I got to pray for y'all. Whether you believe or not, I'm going to pray for y'all. And then we'll close out and we'll have a good night. So, hey, let's go ahead. Let's holler at my girl, D McGee. I know you're probably like, well, Jay, you got to have more music than just D McGee. No, tonight it's all about the rescue. It's all about the rescue. And we're going to talk about some things. So holler back at your boy. We're about to hit this up. Rescue.
Everything is coming towards me. I can't find relief. I'm swimming upstream. I'm trying to keep from drowning. I'm looking up towards you, trying to see if you see me too. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. Don't wanna go too deep. Feels like I can't breathe. My head is underwater. Please come and save me. I wanna live and not die. Come to my rescue, my rescue.
Yo, beautiful people. So I am back, and that was D McGee Rescue. Man, I am just like, uh, man, my heart is full. So I want to go ahead and jump into talking about the final piece of how do we deal with it, and that's the death. There are, again, I'll say this again because it's it's really what sparked me wanting to jump on tonight. Is that I've had quite a few people close to me who have experienced deaths, and their deaths of loved ones due to COVID. And the question that I get is, how do I deal with it? And it's not been those individuals that have come to me and say, how do I deal with it? It's been others that have come to me and say, how do I deal with this? This is something that, like, I don't have any control over. So one thing that I want to put out there to everybody is that no matter what happens, no matter what direction something goes in or someone goes in when it comes to a health issue and these illnesses, I want to challenge you to trust that everything is going to be okay. With the deaths that were close to me, they touched people that I love and they touched people that I care about. One person lost a grandmother and a mother in that timeline. Matter of fact, the day of his grandmother's funeral, he found out at midnight the night before that his mother had passed from COVID, and she was like his best friend. And the thing that I admire about this young man is that he's not missing a beat. He's being very transparent. He's like, hey, I have my days I'm up, I have my days that I'm down, but I hear my mom's voice in my head telling me to keep going. And that's what it's about. We have to keep going. When we lose a loved one, when they transition on, the reason why, and I believe this, the reason why emotionally we get all in an uproar and we're just ready to fall apart and it's just like, oh my God, what do I do next? The reason for that is because we were never designed to die. We weren't built to die. We were built to last. When God created us, he had every intention on us having eternal life. And if you follow the stories and if you believe or not, it doesn't matter. You just know that we weren't designed to die. I am a firm believer that I am a spirit. I live in a body and I have a soul. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I'm 3 parts. So this right here, this is my earth suit. I got to do everything that I can to take care of my earth suit. So when I see somebody who's close to me who has passed away, when I know that they've passed away, I thank God because they don't have to struggle any longer. I thank God because they don't have to feel the pain any longer. I thank God because if there was something that was missing or if there was something that was lacking, they have it all back now. Because whether you believe or not, the Bible does say that, to be absent from the body is to be one with Christ, and I just choose to believe that there's a special place on the other side called heaven. I choose to believe that, but for us that are still here, the hurt that we feel it's real because now we don't have that person in our space any longer. And it may not even have been that they were in our space, but it was just the fact that we knew that if we wanted to go talk to them, we could go talk to them. And so I want to encourage you that if you're going through those things, if you're dealing with those things, I want you to stay strong. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to share love like you've never shared love before. I want you to go out and serve like you've never served before, because the people who have transitioned on, that's what they would want from us. They would want us to go to the next level. They would want us to take our lives to that next level. One of the hardest prayers I ever had to pray, I'll never forget it. I was a manager for Finish Line, and I had a young man who worked for me. His name was Bruce. Man, Bruce was the man. Loved this kid. Bruce started working for me when he was in high school. He had cancer at a young age, so he couldn't play sports or anything. Handsome fella, really into working out. By the time he turned 18, 19, cancer had come back. So he went in remission and came back, and he ended up having to get his leg amputated. Then it went into remission, and then it came back. And then I get a call from his cousin, emotional and frantic, and she's like, "Oh my God, little Bruce is in the hospital." And I'm just like, okay. And I left work immediately. And I was on my way to the hospital. I was just about to pray. And my prayer was going to be, God, please heal his body from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. Like, please, please, God. And before I could even open my mouth to start to pray that prayer, I felt in my heart like God was telling me, don't pray that prayer. Don't pray, not that one. And I'm just like, what? Well, then what do I pray? I'm going into a situation where I'm walking into the hospital and right there, I got the revelation that, we as human beings, we want to hold on to this tangible thing that we call life, right? We want to hold on to the emotion. We want to hold on to the pictures. We want to hold on to the memorabilia. We want to hold on to the hat, the cars, the necklaces. We want to hold on to all of these tangible things. But the reality is we can't take those things with us. So when we lose somebody, we want to keep them here for our sake so that we have them. But the reality is they may have already had that conversation with God and they're ready to transition on to the other side. Like, yo, would you just let me go? I see milk and honey over there. I see mansions on it. I see golden gates. Whatever it is they're seeing, they're back in a place where they're whole. There's laughter, there's joy, there's peace. So if they were sick, then now they're no longer sick. If they were missing limbs, now they'll have all their limbs back. If they couldn't walk, now they can run and skip and jump. Whatever the case is, I firmly choose to believe that, right? So in dealing with the deaths that have been around, I definitely pray for these individuals. I try to make sure that I call my friends often. It's just a reminder to me that this life that we live is but a vapor. And we want to take advantage of every opportunity that we have while we have those opportunities. I personally want to live a life that's poured out. There's a statistic out there. You'll hear me say it now. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again, that in our lifetimes, the most atypical person, the most introverted person will impact 10,000 people in their lifetime without even trying. The most introverted person. That means, like, matter of fact, I like to use this example. Helen Keller. We all know who Helen Keller is, right? She was a deaf, dumb, blind woman. That's Helen Keller. So even with Helen Keller, with her being deaf, dumb, and blind, I'm pretty sure that you've heard of Helen Keller before. If you haven't, you just did. But this woman has been dead for years. Matter of fact, for decades now. But she's still impacting the lives of millions. Impacting the lives of millions. She was deaf, dumb, and blind. She wrote books, deaf, dumb, and blind. The woman is impacting lives. So if you can't take it from that example, then I don't know where else you're going to take it from. What about you? You speak. You can hear me talking to you right now. You can see me on your screen and you're sitting there. And that's why I have the Go Do Something brand, because I need to get people up off of their butt. I need to get people to a place where they are sharing this light they have on the inside of them called love with everybody that's out there. You are going to impact 10,000 people in your lifetime without trying. So what's going to happen when you actually put some effort into it and you try, you make the attempt, you put in the effort? I'll tell you what's going to happen. You are going to change lives. You are going to impact a world. Your voice is going to be heard. See, I need you to understand that you have greatness on the inside of you, and you have to let those people who have passed on go. It doesn't mean that you lose the memory. See, we live in a day and age now where it is perfect for us to hold on to memories because everything gets tossed up into the cloud. Like, let me see. I'm gonna toss this into the cloud. Let's see if it comes back. Ready? I'm gonna toss this up into the cloud. Let's see if it comes back. Yep, it's in the cloud. I just tossed it into the cloud. We have pictures in the cloud. Those are memories. Memories will stick with you and they won't collect dust. Memories are not going to get cobwebs on them. Memories, those digital photos that you have, you look at them because they're going to show you the happy moments. They're going to remind you of what life has had in store for you leading up to this point. You have to take every single lesson that you learned from those individuals that have moved on and apply them to your life. You have to ask yourself, what would I do if that individual was here now and they had the opportunity to see me succeed? You're going to finish the race. You're going to succeed. So I want to challenge you to keep moving. I'm not saying that it's a horrible thing to cry and it's a horrible thing to break down. No. It's absolutely okay to cry and break down. You can do that. You can cry and break down. Just don't stand in one place and just cry and just cry and just cry. Because when you do that, you're watering the grass and you're standing still. And when you stand still in one space, the weeds are going to grow up and they're going to wrap around your legs and hold you still. You need to keep stepping. Let those tears be your strength. All right. It's okay to have those things. So how do we deal with it? We keep living. How do we deal with it? We accomplish our goals. How do we deal with it? We create new goals. How do we deal with it? We build each other up. How do we deal with it? We serve each other. How do we deal with it? We love, we laugh, we live. That's how we deal with it. So listen, tonight, this is like the first of many. I look forward to jumping on here and having some great conversations, some great topics. This was very spontaneous, and so I've been kind of dillying and daddling with a few things. Thank you to everybody who jumped on. Thank you to everybody who stuck around with us through this. Like I said, I am going to pray for you before I get out of here, and just to take us out, I feel like it's necessary to go ahead and play D McGee's song one last time. The song is powerful, man. The song is very powerful. So I am going to go ahead and throw a prayer up. Unless anybody has any questions, let me see if anybody has any questions or any comments. Feel free to make comments and questions. Let's see here. Let me pull up the comments for you. Any questions? Let's see here. All right. Got that. All right. No questions on tonight. So since we don't have no questions, I'm just going to go ahead and pray for you. So whoever it is, I just want you to receive this prayer. All right. Heavenly Father, I thank you. I thank you for everyone who was able to tune in tonight. I ask God that you bless in their lives. You know what people are dealing with. You know the challenges that they're facing. You know whether they're dealing with death or whether they're dealing with lack or whether they're dealing with plenty. I ask God that you move in their lives. I ask God that you show yourself to be real. Those people who are experiencing hurt, I ask God that you give them peace and love and joy and just overwhelm them with your presence. For those people who are dealing with lack, I ask God that you just restore everything to them. Give them back everything that was taken away. For those people who are like, hey, I'm good, give them the continued sense of urgency to cover and love and pray for others. God, we thank you for just tonight. I thank you because you're blessing them in their lives. I speak healing over everybody's bodies, protection over everybody's homes, and sweet sleep so they can rest peacefully. Lord, we thank you and appreciate you in Jesus' name, amen. Hey, listen, this is your boy Jarvis here, and I just want you to know I have enjoyed being on here with you. It's your boy. You want to make sure you go ahead and order that book. Go ahead and go to jarvishenderson.com so you can go ahead and get you your apparel and everything else. And just know that when it comes down to it, your boy has got you. This is me, Jarvis Henderson, and I'm out. We're going to send it away with D McGee.
Everything is coming towards me. I can't find relief. I'm swimming upstream. I'm trying to keep from drowning. I'm looking up towards you, trying to see if you see me too. I'm drowning. I'm drowning.
Other place for me to